one of the topics was around polygyny. So specifically, a man dating multiple, not just dating multiple women at the same time, but having multiple girlfriends or having a girlfriend and then still dating. So
Yep.
I'm not sure what your experience has been in that case, but have you had any relationships like that or um, any experiences like that?
I mean, I quote unquote, you've always got like a main ting or a main girl, and then you're seeing on the side, and that's what the Playboy lifestyle's about. And I would say that's for me. And eventually, when I decide to settle down per se, that's something unless we're unicorn hunting together. But as a masculine man, and you're trying to get into the top echelon, a lot of the clients that I deal with, this is the lifestyle that they want because they can't they can't settle for the chocolate chip cookie for the rest of their life because of what they've done to get to the position they are. They are, the 19-year-old girl that's got the highest value she's ever gotten is this guy that I'm dealing with that's 35. That's the highest value he'll ever be in his entire life. So I can understand why it's a topic that a lot of people want to get to. Whether or not people are even at that position to get it is a completely different story. I think more than half the percentage of people that are looking in relationships like this seriously don't have enough value to do it, because you'll find that they'll break up with their girlfriend and this and that. It's like extremely high value individuals are the only ones that can pull this off, because the downside of the girl leaving has to be so great that she either puts up with it or it's just something she understands. And some of my clients, like, I do know the levels of not only wealth but influence that they're dealing with. They're the ones that I'm like, yo, you can pull it off well. But other people, I'll say to them straight, I'm like, you're not valuable enough to be able to do it. Like, you have to be
Long
like a
term.
quote unquote, yeah, yeah, yeah. Your
Yeah.
finances have to be. We're talking multi millions. We're talking complete like I got a couple of guys and they're private jets. They're owning some big boy toys. Some fucking 100-foot yachts, this that, and they're the guys that can pull it off. And then it comes down to whether they want to or not.
Mm.
Whether that's the long term thing they would. I feel that that's the trajectory I'm going, just because, man, I've been in the monogamous relationships, and for me that works, but for the business I'm in, it doesn't work. And so it really comes down to your circumstances. Can a broke like I would say that any of these things are really good, but for either the top or the bottom of the totem pole, for the highest value dudes or the lowest value dudes, like the richest guys or the brokest guys. For the middle class, this doesn't exist. So I'll give you an example. So when you're in the richest class, you're hanging around your girl 24/7. If you're going on a work trip, she's coming with you. If you're doing this, she's going there. So she's always around you. So she's not getting programmed by or deprogrammed by the media, by TikTok and this. And so you can do a lot of these frame controls. Your dynamics of your relationship chips can be better. Who also spends a lot of time with their significant other? Brokers are joke people, like welfare, because they ain't working and they're around their spouse all the time. So they can do a lot of frame control, but the middle class can't do any of this. They can't. So it's either you go. I wouldn't suggest going downwards. I'd suggest going upwards. But the middle class, they are at work all day. Their girls, by themselves. If they go on a work trip, their girls consuming TikTok for. If you go on a work trip for 5 days, your girl might have consumed at least 20 to 30 hours of programming by the media, by TikTok, by Instagram. That's not great. So I would say that any of these relationships, it's for either the top echelon, the richest or the poorest, right? The middle class can't be
Mm.
doing this stuff because it's so hard to be able to control frames and control dynamics of relationships, which a man has to be able to be the leader of that. And when TikTok is in more of a relationship than you are with your girl, that ain't gonna end well.
Oh, that is fascinating, actually. That's crazy. Um,
Yeah, very different,
yeah, okay, I'm thinking about this now. So there was I'll give one or two examples. So one of my
Yeah.
previous girlfriends, um, we we were coworkers, and after a few weeks, we started dating maybe. And we had that conversation, like, what is our relationship? She came to me saying, I know you date other women, and I'm okay with that for now, but eventually I will want to have you for myself, something along those lines. Pretty
Uh,
much that's how it went, as short as that. That's how the conversation was. Nothing
yep.
complicated. It was pretty straightforward. And I was actually surprised because I'm pretty sure that was my first ever one where I was long-term intended relationship where that kind of happened. And then a few weeks later, maybe she was ready to have me to herself. So it didn't last that long. Uh, and then I went
A
back to the
couple of
East
weeks out of
Coast.
that. Yep.
And then when I was on a boat sailing from Nova Scotia to New York, or to Maine actually.
Uh,
And then there are two computers on this boat. And luckily there's internet connection at this random spot in the ocean. And she was breaking up with me over messages. So we never saw each other again. Um, but obviously it was the fact that our relationship wasn't going to work out long term.
mm,
Obviously, for her, that's how she was
yep.
seeing it. And then the next relationship I had, not exactly the same thing, but yeah, we never had the conversation. That was the thing, but she knew what the deal was because of my Instagram and the implications and all the stuff I was doing.
Sure.
So it was just very much obvious. But there you go. I was a brokey in those times. So for
Sure.
me, at least, this theory kind of holds up. And then when there's the fact, maybe it's that thing when you have a mortgage and all these commitments
Yep.
financially, and you're earning X amount, not above it, not below it, not below it enough to be reliant on the welfare state or something like that.
Sure.
If you miss a moment, then you're in debt, something like that. So everything just becomes harder because the game you're
Mhm.
playing is a constant financial struggle, something like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. The game is hard. It ain't easy, you know. At the moment, it ain't easy. Never will be. So some guys, I feel that they want the game to be easy, but this is why that there is respect and then there is admiration about people that can become the most valuable people in the world. That's where the respect comes from because it is a hard game.
Hmm.